Welcome to Self Talk Show, your ultimate destination for inspiring stories and valuable insights from thought leaders across various industries. I'm your show host, Meetali Ohri, and in today's episode, our honor extends to the founder of Career On Demand, Braxton Wood. Braxton is not just an award-winning executive career consultant, but also a transformative force in the domain of career development. Delve into his journey, unique perspectives, and the strategies that have led him to become a guiding light for professionals around the globe. So let's dive into this transformative conversation. Braxton, welcome to Self Talk Show. It's a huge honor for me to have you on my podcast. And I'm super stoked to begin this interview. And I'm sure our audience will depart with a whole new perspective and a huge dose of inspiration. So without any further ado, let's kick off this interview. Can you share more about your background and the events that led you to start Career On Demand?
So my background is a little unique, and a lot of the inspiration behind me founding this business is based on the topic of education. So I have not had any formal schooling since I was 11 years old. I have not set foot in a classroom since I was 11 years old. That's because I'm a product of homeschooling. So quick backstory on that. I was in grade 5. During that period, my brother was getting bullied a lot in grade school. He was a couple years behind me. And so my mom decided to pull him out and begin homeschooling him indefinitely. And so then the summer came, and I ended up having a conversation with my mother where she said, your brother's at home doing the homeschool thing already. Would you like to be homeschooled as well and not go back to 6th grade? And like any sane 11, 12-year-old kid, I said, yes, don't send me back to school. So that's the kind of how my journey started with education and in developing my career. Is while I have not had any formal schooling since that age, I have had a wealth of education. And that's one of the big things that I try to explain in my coaching and in my content, is that schooling is not synonymous with education. They are not the same thing. And you can get a very good, fulfilling, enriched education without ever setting foot in a classroom. It's 2023 at this point. We're in the 21st century. There are way more effective, efficient methods of education, thanks to the internet, besides the traditional schooling route. And so that is indirectly what I coach people a lot on, is how to develop their careers getting a more efficient education than they would get in a classroom. So that's the basis of how I started Career on Command. But the other side of it is me as a teenager and as a young adult, not having to lean on that formal education forced me in a position where I had to purely make my way through my career path based entirely on merit, because I didn't have education to say that I was, that I was smart. I didn't have a piece of paper to say I was educated. And so I did a lot of experiments in terms of applying to jobs and developing certain skills, and then using those skills to gain experience and apply to more jobs. And I took a very scientific approach with it. And what I discovered is that this method that I uncovered is categorically more effective than just going to school, spending a ton of time and resources in a classroom just to have some institution say that you're well informed, that you're well educated. I found it's way more effective to bet on yourself and to gain your experience in the things that you are interested in, that you want to have a skill set in, put that stuff into practice, and from that, develop some experience, put that on your resume, and you will be heads above all the other competition for the jobs you're interested in if you do it right. And that's what I teach people, is once you've done that, here's how you do it right. So that's the basis of Career on Command, is basically just explaining to people how they can replicate that path of success based on my experience. And we've been doing it for years now, where we found that it is incredibly effective. We've never had any complaints from our clients, and we're grateful for that trust that people gives us, because our method, our path our approach is completely unorthodox. It goes completely against the status quo. It is very countercultural, but that's something that we couldn't be more proud of.
That's quite a unique and inspiring story. So let's head to our next question. Many people see not having a high school diploma, GED, or college degree as a disadvantage. How did you turn these circumstances into advantages in your career?
I think something that I've been told multiple times before I became a business owner, before I started coaching on this topic in the first place, a lot of companies would tell me that they were impressed with me because of the fact that I didn't have any education. The fact that I was completely self-learned, completely self-taught, and I built my skills and experience based on that, told them that I was very motivated and very directed in what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go in my career. And so that's a huge benefit for anyone to realize that employers care more about your skills and experience. And if you feel like the employers aren't appreciating that, chances are that you're just not positioning it to them in a way that resonates with them. And that's something we coach with Career on Command as well, and in our content also.
Right. Congratulations on your recognition as an award-winning executive career consultant. What aspects of your approach do you believe set you apart, contributing to your success in this field?
I kind of touched on it before, but really, we teach people how to replicate the process and the method of real life effective career development. And we do it in a very countercultural way by the world standards. But we found it to be way more effective, to be way more helpful. And people that embrace this style of career development will soon find that where they end up going is somewhere that they thought that they would be at maybe 10 years ahead rather than 3 months, 6 months, or maybe a year. So it greatly accelerates people in their career journey, in their career development, and really they just benefit from that knowledge. What we really do is teach people the skill set of job hunting, and it's not a skill that is taught in classrooms. It's not even something that people realize is a very valid skill set. And so that's what we do.
Your coaching extends to Hollywood and C-suite professionals, which is quite unique. Could you delve into how you customize your coaching to address the specific needs and challenges of individuals in these high-profile roles?
Yeah, so the way that we uncover really what the needs of our clients are is we invite people to do a free assessment with us. And the whole idea is to unpack the strategy that they've been using to develop their career up to this point. And we use that term strategy very intently, but help them understand what is the strategy you've been employing now, and what are the gaps we can help you fill with this free assessment to help you understand how to fill those gaps, how to make big leaps, make big milestones in your career. So that's the first thing, is we do an assessment, and we take a very almost methodical, scientific approach to it, where we've broken down what every stage of the career development process is of that in that journey, and then basically ask our clients or our prospective clients, which of these stages of that journey do you feel like you struggle with, or that you have confusion around, or do you feel like there's misconceptions around? We help them understand those and then take the assessment to the next step.
What are some effective job search strategies that you recommend to your client? Also, could you provide tips for job seekers who might be facing challenges in competitive job market?
Yeah, so this is the number one thing I see job seekers struggle with and make the mistake with. Most people will almost take a snapshot of their skills and experience. They'll take an inventory of their skills and experience, and when they're on the job hunt, when they're looking for a new job, they try to find a role that matches that skill set and that level of experience. It's a huge mistake, because you will only make marginal leaps in your career if you go about it that way. What we teach our clients to understand is, where is it that you want to go? And we even use kind of the phrase, you can't know the bullseye until you understand what the target is. So we help our clients really unpack what that target is so that they can get laser focused on what the bullseye is. And as they focus on that bullseye, a lot of opportunities start to bubble up from understanding whatever that target is, whatever that target employer is, that target job, that bullseye. What are the things that are necessary in a candidate, and what should they possess skill-wise, experience-wise, to help them hit that bullseye? So it's a matter of seeing the bullseye, seeing the goal, and then reverse engineering the way backwards on what steps are necessary to get there. Because sometimes where you are and where you want to go is not just one step. Sometimes it's 3 or 4. Sometimes it's 1. And we definitely help our clients accelerate that process, even if it is 1 or 2 or 4 steps. Almost doesn't matter. But we help our clients understand, if this is where you want to go, this could be a 6-month process. This could be a 2-year process. Really depends on where you want to go. But very often we find our clients achieve their goals within even a few calls with us at sometimes. But that's the biggest thing, is know where you want to go and reverse engineer the steps back from it to the point that it's where you are at, and you can then see the milestones, see those stepping stones that you need to take.
Resume building often comes with common misconceptions. Could you shed light on your approach and highlight key elements in the resume building process that can effectively distinguish and elevate a resume?
Yeah, so I have a very high level kind of core methodology to this, and I can say it in 2 words. The approach to effective resume building is all about removing barriers. And the reason for this is because in this day and age, most employers, in fact, 99% of employers, use hiring software to help them manage all the applications they get. This is called the ATS system. And so what ATS systems do is, in addition to helping employers manage the database of all the applications they get for any one job, these ATS systems are also built to do an actual scan of a candidate's resume and then compare that resume to the job listing. And that ATS system will actually rate that candidate's resume based on the content compared to the job listing. Almost like an Amazon review or a Google review. It works almost the same way. When employers open up the ATS system, that is what they see. It's a rating right next to the candidate's name. Most ATS systems behave this way. And so we help our clients understand is that a lot of the reasons you may get a low rating in that system is because there's things in your resume that are actually tripping up the scan, that are actually creating a barrier or an obstacle for you where you may not want that. The other side of it is you have to understand what the needs of the employer are and be able to address them in your resume. So again, removing barriers, and when you do that, all the good stuff is left, and it's just a matter of speaking the language of the employer. And I kind of joke, what we teach our clients through our coaching program is that you will almost understand how the employer is thinking, that you'll be able to read their mind. You'll understand how to speak the language so well that they'll feel like you're reading their mind.
Well, that's amazing. Your work has gained recognition from various platforms such as Coach Foundation, MX, CEO Blog Nations, and more. How do these diverse features contribute to your approach as a career consultant? And how has this exposure impacted the reach of Career on Demand?
It is so important to me that the world understands that these job hunting skills is a real thing. It gets very in the weeds, it's very in depth, and it's something that people don't realize they need to understand, because again, nowhere in the schooling system is this something that is really taught. And so because of the fact that it's not taught, most people assume that job hunting skills, this skill set, isn't necessary or it's not really a thing. So in terms of me using my approach and the recognition I've gotten from it, from all these media outlets, it's fulfilling to me more than anything. Not because I'm being discovered across certain places on the web, but because this is information I think the world needs to hear. Because it'll improve our economy, it'll improve the lives of so many people, it will help families, it will bring hope and peace to a lot of people if they can embrace this idea of having real concrete job hunting skills. So that's what I would say about that. It's flattering that all these media outlets have found something notable to share when it comes to my story. And that's my motivation, is if I can use this story and if I can use what I've discovered with this whole process, with this whole approach to help improve more lives, that is the mission of Career on Command.
Consulting with over 400 companies across 11 countries is a vast and diverse experience. How do you navigate the unique challenges presented by different cultures and industries? And what insights have you gained from this global perspective?
I would say the biggest thing I've learned, the biggest insight is to remember, and it's become very obvious as I've gone on and on in this business, but we're all human, we're all people. And so as I was blessed and fortunate to get more and more exposure across international waters and be able to meet and talk with more people of different cultures, of different political systems, it's helped me realize we really are just all people. And it's been such a blessing for me to recognize that, because it shows me that we all have something in common. And again, if I attribute that and if I kind of associate that back to what our mission at Career on Command is, then to me it means there's some universal principles that will help us all in our careers and in our livelihood in supporting our families. That's huge.
So right. Making a six-figure salary is a goal for many professionals. What advice do you have for individuals who are aspiring to reach this milestone, especially those considering unconventional paths? Also, can you share a story of someone who faced significant challenges but managed to overcome them on their journey to a six-figure income?
Yes and yes. The biggest piece of advice I would give to individuals aspiring to reach that huge milestone is to don't discount yourself and be relentless in betting on yourself. Do not hesitate to bet on yourself, and do not wait and seek permission from another employer, from another company. Do not go trying to seek validation and permission from anyone else to do the thing you're wanting to do. Go out and start and do whatever it takes for you to do it yourself. Because the reality is, and I don't want to sound negative, but in this world, people are selfish. I think we're all selfish to some extent. No one is coming to save you. And while that sounds negative, I take it as a positive, because that means that anyone that you see, for the most part, that's successful means they figured out how to bet on themselves. And so if they can do it, you can do it too. Betting on yourself is not so much a skill that can be learned. Again, going back to how useful school is and college is, and where it may not be so useful. But betting on yourself is not a skill that can be taught. It's a skill that's learned. And it's something like someone that is passionate and ambitious and driven is someone that has taken steps to have that as part of their character themselves. And so the other thing is don't have so lofty goals that you feel distraught or you feel defeated when you don't achieve them right away. Create a 5-year plan if you want to. I'm not always a proponent of that, but if it helps you see the milestones and whatever it is you want to do, then do that. Because when you achieve that first milestone rather quickly, you get the satisfaction of achieving something, and it motivates you to go to the next milestone and to the next milestone until you've reached the end of your list of milestones and you've now hit the bullseye. The other thing I would say is it's important to try and surround yourself with people that will elevate you. And I like I said before, you can't expect someone to come save you. But what you can do is improve your network and find places to go where people will elevate you. And a good way to understand if you're in the right place or not is if you are the smallest person in the room If you're in a room in a network of people where you're trying to learn from them or trying to, have things rub off from them to you, make sure that you're the smallest person in the room, because if you're not, and if you're the biggest person, if you're the most authoritative, if you're the most informed, if you're the most educated, if you're the most skilled person in the room, you are in the wrong place because there's no one there to elevate you. And as far as story goes, in terms of someone who faced significant obstacles, but reached this 6-figure milestone, I have an early client that is my case study. Their name is Steph. And what Steph experienced was very challenging and borderline traumatic. She lost her job as a result of the pandemic and was unemployed for a year. And she is a talented marketer with a very long list of skills. But she, like I said earlier, was like most people, and she struggled to understand how to position herself and speak the language of employers and to say things that employers wanted to hear. So she went through that experience for a year, not sure what to do, and was so distraught with the situation that she was in. She finally came to me. I spent a half an hour with her because I honestly couldn't bring myself to charge her any money for extended coaching. And so I gave her a free half hour of my time. And Steph took that advice to heart. She was motivated. She was ambitious. She used that advice and made some changes to her resume. She applied to some jobs that very same night. Some of those jobs of which she told me later she had actually applied to previously, but she applied to them again. And by lunchtime the next day, she had 3 job interviews lined up. And within a week later, she was fully employed, earning that 6-figure salary. And so to me, this is a testament to anyone hearing this, to anyone listening, that if you feel like you're struggling in your career, and if you feel like employers aren't getting the attention that you think you deserve, just know that there is nothing wrong with you. It's not about you. You don't need to doubt that you're not as skilled or you're not as experienced as you thought you were. That's not the problem. The only problem is you're just not positioning yourself properly in your resume, in your online presence, in your LinkedIn. You're not positioning yourself in a way that resonates with employers and gets their attention. And the truth is that this is a very easy skill to develop. And this is something we coach our clients on all the time.
You emphasize the importance of investing in oneself. How do you guide clients in identifying their strengths and navigating their career paths with confidence?
I love personality tests, but this is actually something that in my coaching, I do not use personality tests at all. And the reason why is that I don't want someone to feel like that they're pigeonholed into a certain set of characteristics. I want them to understand that the path is pretty linear to their dream job, to their desired career, if they just understand how to leverage their existing strengths and experience, and equally important, using that to address the needs that employers are saying they have when they open up a job. It's as simple as that.
In your role as a career consultant, you're pretty attuned to industry trends. What are some current trends in career development and job searching that professionals should be aware of?
I would say that being aware of how the job market is shifting is important and can be useful if you understand it. There are times, depending on the season and in the year, that it could be very much an employee market versus an employer market. And it can very much depend. So coming out of the pandemic, even though that things were uncertain and up in the air, that was very much a employee market for a lot of reasons. And one of them is one of the reasons why is because all those jobs that employees were told were not remote friendly, were not possible to work from home, suddenly became remote jobs. And when we came out of the pandemic and all the chaos kind of calmed down, and all these employers are wanting to bring people back into the office, employees kind of realized that the jig was up and they weren't going to tolerate the misinformation that these jobs aren't remote friendly when they performed their jobs perfectly fine during the pandemic, if not even better. And even statistics show that remote employees tend to be happier, they tend to be more productive, and so on. So that's one of the biggest things I would identify in terms of trends. Another big one, as of right now, is AI. And even at Career on Command, we're developing our own AI tools that help job seekers more effectively and efficiently find the type of role that they not just want, but the type of role they're aspiring for. So AI is a big one. Using tools like AI, language processors, and things like that to help you elevate the way you position yourself as a quality candidate can be huge. So that would be another trend I would keep in mind of.
For our audience who may be struggling in their careers, what advice would you give them to take control and navigate their paths more effectively?
This honestly goes right back to betting on yourself. There is more opportunity out there than what most people believe. And the reason why they don't believe there's a lot of opportunity out there is because of the limited perspective they have from not being taught how to position themselves. So as job seekers and as senior candidates on wherever you fall on the spectrum, as you understand that ceiling is a glass one that can be easily broken, as long as you understand how to position yourself, you're going to find more opportunities come to you. And then the other thing is, if you're going to take control of your career path, then that means you also have to take ownership and be an authority in it. So I encourage all of our coaching clients to think about your online presence more. How are you using social media? Maybe take an opportunity to use all of your social media to talk more about what it is that you do for a living and the achievements that you've had and the ways that you're helping people and the ways you're helping the job market, how you're helping the economy, how you're helping your communities. Start talking about that more and see the opportunities start to trickle in. And as you do that more and more, it builds on itself. And then suddenly you realize that there's a lot of opportunities coming to you, and you're having a lot of conversations with people because you've done the hard part to build yourself up as an authority. That's the biggest thing I'd recommend to our clients. It's been a pleasure sharing this with you all. I'm grateful for the time to be able to spend with you. Thank you.
And there you have it, folks. A captivating conversation with Braxton Wood, the visionary behind Career on Demand. The fascinating journey that led him to create a powerhouse in career consultancy. His distinctive approach to coaching high-profile individuals and insights into ever-evolving landscape of career development. Thank you, Braxton, for sharing your wisdom and experiences with us. It was a pleasure having you on my podcast. And now to our audience. If you enjoyed today's episode and want to stay updated on upcoming interviews and discussions with industry leaders, then hit that subscribe button. And hey, if you found value in what you heard, then please take a moment to leave a review. It would be greatly appreciated, as your feedback really helps me continue bringing you high quality content. Until the next episode, keep aiming high, forging your own path to success, and keep listening and watching Self Talk Show podcast.